Need tips for using your Amazon Alexa? Join Lucy on All About Lady A on the second Thursday of the month for simple tricks to get the most out of your A-Lady device. Listen on the Unmute Presents podcast feed. See you there. Oh yeah, did I mention? You can also check out unmute.show for all past episodes and to get more information about what we've got going on.
Welcome back to At Your Fingertips, Braille Then and Now. I'm really excited to share with you a brand new product today that I've just received, and I am actually using it in my own teaching and just love it, and it's called the Braille Doodle. It's not just for kids, and so we can learn a lot by the inspiration that brought this product to life and about the different ways in which people are using it. So what is the Braille Doodle? Well, it's a tablet-sized device that has two surfaces on it. The front and back are dual purpose. So the front side is for creating the Braille alphabet and practicing your letters and being able to write words and sentences. And the other side of the doodle is for drawing freehand or by putting a stencil-like cover over the doodle drawing surface and being able to fill in inside the shape that the stencil is creating. So the device contains hundreds and hundreds of little tiny magnetic ball bearings, and you create the Braille dots by using a magnetic stylus, and you put the little stylus into a hole on the surface of the device, and it draws up a little tiny ball bearing. And this is a great tool for teaching Braille and for teaching other subjects that require some visual representation. So before I get into it too much more and tell you how I'm using it, I'd love to tell you about what inspired this product. So Daniel Lubiner is a longtime veteran teacher of special education class time, and also he has taught art to blind and visually impaired students. And he's based in New York. And when everything kind of ground to a halt in the pandemic, he still wanted to be able to teach his classes, but there really wasn't any way to do that as efficiently. I know from my own personal experience, I sent Braille materials in the mail and read over the phone with my students, and we really got it done, but it did take some extra work. So Daniel wanted to keep teaching, and so he picked up a toy on Amazon, and it was a toy that had some little magnetic balls in it, and he wanted to draw the balls up to the surface of the toy. But unfortunately, when the balls were touched, they disappeared. And so he thought, why not create something that allows a person to use a magnetic stylus and draw these little tiny magnetic ball bearings up through the hole, but allow springs inside the unit to keep the little balls in place so that you don't just automatically erase everything. So that is what he did. He spent quite a bit of time developing this product, and it has finally come to fruition. I know I was excited to read about it and to hear about it from one of my students who was an avid Braille reader and who was working with me technology. But this student really wanted to share with me about this new product. So I ordered a couple of them on the Kickstarter that was alive and well some time ago. And I was very excited after production really got into gear to get my Braille Doodles. And it's probably been about a month ago or so. And so when I went to my mailbox, I got this big box out and I shook it a little bit, and boy, there's hundreds of thousands of little ball bearings inside. I'm like, those are the Braille Doodles. So I'm very pleased to tell you more about this. So as I said, it was motivated out of a love for teaching and wanting to bring instruction to blind and visually impaired. And also, I think in a very big way to make things more accessible, but also to be inclusive and to have all kinds of folks participate in the learning. So the Braille Doodle, the practice Braille side, of course, you're going to practice your Braille, and the other side you can use for drawing pictures and graphs. And, of course, you can put a stencil on the surface and draw within the stencil and create pictures. So for what we call STEM learning, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, you can really practice your graphing skills. And even if it was an example of a little spreadsheet, like I often will teach people how to use a spreadsheet on their Mac. And so I could show folks what the spreadsheet looks like. Also, if you wanted to show someone what the apps were on their iPhone screen, how they're laid out in a grid and where they are and what things kind of look like, you could represent that by drawing with this little stylus. And every time you move the stylus on the drawing surface, it raises up the little ball bearings. On the drawing surface, there is also an X and a Y axis. So I remember using clunky rubber boards with grids and graph paper and rubber bands and thumbtacks and anything else we could find and rubber bands to make things stretch out and try to represent graphing. But really, there's no Braille involved and took a lot of work to do that. But given the drawing side, it's really possible to do that. And they have included in the box the stencils, which are like cutouts that you can draw inside of the cutouts. There's a house and a tree on one, and then there is a representation of graph paper with little squares. And then there's also, I believe there's about 84 Braille cell sized squares that you could put on the drawing side, because then you're writing as much as you want to, and you can then raise the particular dots that you want to in each cell. On the practice side of the Braille Doodle, you'll be practicing your Braille in a really unique way. There are 16 Braille cells in the first row, and there are 3 more rows just like it below that. In the first cell, on the top left-hand corner, you have only one dot that is operational. When you put the stylus into the hole, only dot 1 is functional. That's so that you or the student can make the letter A, and it will be correct. The next Braille cell is for practicing the letter A, so you can press or draw up any one of those dots and then see if it matches the first one. In cell number 3, there is only the possibility of making a B, so only dots 1 and 2 are functional. Then cell 4 would be for practicing the B, and so on up to the letter H. The second row is for writing and practicing or duplicating letters I through P. The third row is for Q through X. And the fourth row is Y and Z, and also includes the capital sign, the number sign, and the contractions for and, for, of, and the. And then there are 2 rows of cells at the bottom of the unit that allow you to write whatever you'd like. And then at the very, very bottom, there is standard size Braille that has the full alphabet, and then it has the famous sentence, "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog." Now, I should say, too, that also included on this Braille practice side are print and Braille letters that are standard size Braille underneath the Braille cell where you would be practicing those letters. So if a sighted parent or grandparent or teacher wants to work with the student on practicing their Braille, then they will have access to what are those letters and how can I make sure the student is writing the proper letter? Also, when you think about it, inclusivity is really great. I think normalizing Braille, and even if we say gamifying Braille, making it fun and cool, other students could really enjoy looking on as a child is practicing their Braille, and they would want to play with it too, because it's a really fun toy. It's almost a fun fidget toy if you want to think about it. Today, I was demonstrating it for a couple of our business relations coordinators at my workplace. And I was saying, this could be really handy for O&M instructors to show what a street, a block or two looks like, a workplace, a new workplace. Here's the hallway, here's 2 offices, here's your desk, and here's the orientation of the room. And you could draw a little picture of it. Anything that makes Braille accessible. And I was starting to doodle a little bit on the Braille unit as I was talking. And I thought, oh, I better concentrate and not pretend like I'm not paying attention, because I am paying attention. So it has a wide-reaching possibilities. And my adult learners really enjoy it because a lot of times they're still developing their tactile discrimination. They're still trying to orient themselves to where one cell starts and the next one begins. And they're still finding their way. And so when they feel a representation of a new letter that I'm teaching, or maybe I'm teaching the $sign and the number sign, and they want to feel those in as a big example, as in Jumbo Braille, I will write several examples on the Braille Doodle for them, and they can duplicate them. And they can manipulate, and it really cements the dot positions as well, because some people have some issue with the dot positions and labeling those with numbers and really getting to understand that. And so my adult learners are really enjoying it. And the ones that are especially kinesthetic learners, we've ordered Braille Doodles for them. And our rehab agency has not batted an eyelash. They're really in support of whatever helps someone to learn. And I think it takes the pressure and the possible dullness of learning. Oh, I just have a book. Just have my old book here. But they can come in and really enjoy a kinesthetic experience and really appreciate this new way of learning. And as I discussed earlier today with the business relations coordinators, there may be some folks that have spatial issues that are learning a new area. There may be people that have some intellectual disabilities that would really benefit from feeling a tactile representation of something that we might consider simple, but that they might really consider crucial, getting to know those spatial relationships. So I think the Braille Doodle is awesome. And you can have your very own. I know in the US, we are getting them from AT Guys. So atguys.com. And I don't work for AT Guys, but I really appreciate doing business with them and getting this Braille Doodle from them. So they're one of the distributors. Check in with the internet. You can always go to the website, which is touchpadprofoundation.org. And they will have really interesting videos with transcripts, I believe, as well, on how to use the Braille Doodle, how to get started, and how to use it in the teaching of Braille, in drawing of pictures, creating some art. And they do plan to give more resources in terms of videos upcoming, say the graphing functions. And they also do want to provide more stencils as well. And I just want to back up and say that when I got the Braille Doodle in the box, there is a Braille sheet of paper and it has a QR code on it that is outlined in a square. And so I knew exactly what it was, where to find it. It does take me to the website. But again, you can go to touchpadprofoundation.org, and that will give you all the information you need. So I hope you've enjoyed a tour of the Braille Doodle and maybe you would like your own so you can practice Braille, or you can introduce a young person who could benefit from Braille to the Doodle. And so I encourage you to check out that resource. And if you have any questions, any feedback, anything you would like me to focus on in the next issue in March of At Your Fingertips, please feel free to reach out. And that address is feedback@unmute.show. Again, that's feedback@unmute.show. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.